he was on the channel. Oh,
we're on. You're all right. It usually takes a second. I try to start on time because you know how it is.
yep.
Yeah.
You know how it is. Always, everybody's sitting there. But I think right now everybody's in other lives.
Yeah.
Temporarily.
It's all right.
But that's cool. They'll be coming in.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know with you guys being pastors, then you see that all the time. Like you're like, okay, let's go.
Yes.
At our place, it's always like 15, 20 minutes after. And then it'll be like, man, it's like, I'm trying to end on time. I was like, well, we never started on time.
Yeah, that's the thing. Nobody cares about what time it starts, but they really want to care about what time it ends.
Yeah.
So,
Stomach starts talking to you.
Yes, indeed. The watches start going off.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. There's Shane in the house.
Christina.
What's up, Shane?
Yeah, Christina, good. Yeah, I'll put you guys in as moderators as well so that if anything pops up.
Yeah, cool. Got Jimmy and Uncle B's already pulled in.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sean popping in. Sean's kind of close to me. He's about 2.5 hours away, or 2 hours. Raleigh is where he's from.
No, there's Hannah.
How are y'all?
Hey, Hannah. KJ.
Dude, I gotta put her in, man. I'm gonna go pop her in so she can be on the mod staff, the mod squad.
Oh man, the significant others have wrenches.
Oh, that was a mistake, Eric. What are you doing, man?
This one right here
Is
is
she gonna-
stingy with his. I'm the only
It'd
one
be
that
all
has
right.
one.
Yeah, I think there's a couple on my channel. And I didn't even realize it when I was doing the premiere. Everybody was saying, I want wrench, and I didn't even realize what they were saying. So I should have turned them blue.
Well, what happens? I don't know if you've had guys have had it happen yet, but we actually had it happen the first time we went live. There's some guy that popped in and started calling us all a bunch of bombs and stuff. We're trying to get him off. Like, how in the world?
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
You've made it, I guess. I've not had that. I've had a thumbs down a few times. That's I hear you've made it in YouTube if you get a thumbs down. So I've got a few of those.
We had one that I laughed at your comment, Sam. The guy on our video from the other night that was like, one of your friends? Sam was
Logan?
like, yes.
Yeah, Logan.
All right. So like everybody's comments that I've been into, I've just been commenting on Logan's stuff because I'm like, oh, I'm feeling left out. I was telling Eric last week, like the bots have been leaving me alone. And I went on Cats. I was asking, it was like, is cereal a soup? Is hot dog a sandwich? I was like asking all sorts of weird stuff. And then when I dropped my video yesterday, I got 3 comments from him. Want to be friends? Want to be friends?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Logan's just a lonely dude. He just wants to be his friend.
Hey, Christina.
That's what I dropped that on Sam's too. I said, just be his friend already, Sam. Like, come on. I used to mess with all the bots all the time because I've had Tim, Todd, Tom, all the
Yeah, I've had Tim. I've had Tom. Yep,
The whole gang.
See them drop into live feeds and say,
Yeah.
like my Facebook, like my Facebook.
There's one guy that's been on Redneck Resale, and I'm a mod on there, and it was like Ask Scott, and I thought he was a mod or he was a bot, but he's a real dude. He bought something from him and everything. I was like, Ask Scott just looked like a bot, so I have to apologize. I kicked him out of the chat the first time, and then he came back. It's like, I'm a real dude.
I've had the music bot pop in on mine, like that guy that says music. I've had that. I've seen that too.
Yeah.
There's been a few. I mean, I get some stuff on the back end sometimes that I've had to kick out.
we have too. It'll come up and say it'll ask, if you want to leave this on there or not. Some of it is like, come on now.
Nah, we'll just let that go. Well, guys, we got Jennifer in the house. Obviously, greatest mod in the business right there.
Yes, indeed. Well deserved for those 1K subs. Congratulations, Jennifer.
Yeah, I've slid her into my continuous watch pattern along with you guys and Joey. So we're trying to push her some watch hours up.
Yeah, it's amazing that ours happened so quick after it sort of got to rolling. I mean, from 600 to 1,000 was like 3 weeks, and it just went crazy. So we weren't really doing lives. We weren't doing anything thinking about watch time hours, but now we are.
Yeah, we got Flowtown in the house and Philly Picker as well. So, man, good to have all you guys in. I guess we'll kind of go ahead and get started then. Obviously, if you're here and you're watching, then more than likely you know one of us. But we'd like to go around it too and just kind of give a brief introduction. I think everybody pretty much knows who we are, but I know having Rev Resale and NikkiT, it's glad to have those guys in tonight. They just hit their 1K on subs, what we've been talking about. So, we definitely want to get on board, start watching those guys. If you're not already subscribed for some unknown reason, go ahead and do that. While you're here, all the guys' links are in down below. Sam, Dapper Tiger, Jacob, Midwest Bargains, and obviously Rev Resale. So go in and sub to those guys while you're here, and I'm sure we'll be dropping links as more people come in. But we do thank you for being here. So we'll go ahead and let you guys, Sam and Jacob, kind of do some introductions, and we'll turn it over to Rev for a second.
Yeah. So my name is Sam. I go by Dapper Tiger on YouTube and Instagram. I'm a part-time reseller. I guess my niche is Macari nowadays, like with all my reselling. But yeah, I just started doing this to make a little extra cash for the baby, and here I am on YouTube now. So
cool.
Sam invented Mercari. So I just recently, I'm Jacob, by the way. My channel is Midwest Bargains. I just started using Mercari recently to list, and I've had a lot of success with it. So I really do appreciate that, Sam, for the tip.
Of course,
but I before that, I primarily sold on eBay. Just been part-time reselling since I was like 17 or so, 25 now. So a lot of inspiration comes from my dad.
Cool.
Yeah, if you guys hadn't seen Jacob's stuff, man, his dad's warehouse / collecting place is nuts. So he's definitely got a lot. And like I said, it's great to have you guys. Dave, you and NikkiT, man, it's good to have you guys. So if y'all want to give a little brief.
Yeah, my name's David. I go by Rev Resale here on YouTube. I'm a full-time pastor and a fun-time reseller. So when time allows, and right now during this shutdown time, it's really been flip-flopped. I'm just preaching one message a week, and the rest of the time can't make visits, can't do things like that. So it's just been reselling just about 90% of the time. So I know how the other side of the world does it now. So it's been fun. This is my lovely bride, NikkiT. She pulls Zions out of baseball card packs. She's so lucky. But we're honored to be here hanging out with y'all tonight.
Yeah, it's, obviously, man, it's great to have you guys. And you got, I think, half the YouTube world looking for basketball cards everywhere they go.
Pretty much.
I definitely see everybody like, dude, I got to get a hold of some of them cards. For me, I'm one of those guys, once I used to collect that stuff, man, when I was, a teenager. So for me, I hadn't in a long time. I've got the old 90s NBA hoop stuff, Gary Payton rookies and all that kind of stuff. So for me, after watching your stuff, I went and bought, that sticker pack. That's the only thing I could find when I started opening cards. I was like going back to 13 years old going, oh my gosh, am I going to get something? But
that's the cool thing about the card game now is I still have as much fun opening the packs and, man, just geeking out whenever you find a great card. But the cool thing is now is I'm unloading them just as quick as I get them in. I'm really not collecting. I'm just getting the profit out of those. And I wish now in the 80s and 90s with my cards that I originally collected, I wish I did that then because now those cards are worth virtually nothing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I still have them. I still keep them because they're mine.
Right.
But yeah, that's one of the reasons that I bought cards today. I've opened the packs. I've listed them and sold them all today, and I can't wait to ship them out.
Crazy.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's definitely changing things. When there, we've all obviously done stuff like that. For me as a kid, that was one of my first flipping experiences, man. Was baseball, basketball, football cards, and comic books. That's one of the things that we were constantly trading and selling with each other back in the day, trying to complete your series or whatever you needed. Like if you're missing cards, you're already always buying and borrowing and trading. So for me, it definitely brought things kind of full circle in the reselling game. But I know these guys probably have some questions for you as well. We're going to open up the chat. Like if people have questions, we'll try to get it. If you don't see one of us hit it, then please, bring it to our attention. Or if you guys that are in as mods, just send me a repeat or something. It's good to have Ann in and Kent and Sonny. Trying to catch everybody. Colton, good to have you guys in.
So Chris, that Cajun.
Chris, yep.
Yeah.
So good to have everybody in. So Sam, you got some questions for these guys today?
Yeah, man. I was just curious, like, I guess you've kind of shared your born again story, like finding religion again. And, I'm curious how that's kind of guided you in your reselling journey.
Yeah, being a Reverend Resale, there's always that connection. And some have even asked, do the people in the church or do others look down because I'm reselling? But if we think about it, every item that we purchase anywhere, there's markup on it, or otherwise people wouldn't sell it. And even in biblical times, I mean, you weren't going to grow a ear of corn and sell it for what you had in it. I mean, you're going to try to get a little bit extra. So for me, I try to be, I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. I'm a Christian first and foremost. Then I'm a pastor. Then I'm a reseller. Family, of course, in there very much so as well. So I just hope when people watch the channel that they see that I'm doing right. I'm trying to do the right thing. And yes, I mean, I'm marking stuff up, but I'm selling it at the going rate. I'm not trying to steal. Trying to do it the right way, and I hope people can tell that on the channel.
Absolutely.
You want me to go ahead and go?
Go ahead, Jake. Yeah.
So you guys, so my question is, have you always both been interested in reselling, or did one of you get into it first?
I actually got into it first when our kids were little. Yeah. You know how kids are, and Sam, soon to find out. You go through baby toys and they look completely untouched through the first few stages of life. And there was a huge reselling market for those. So I would list the baby toys online, and he thought I was crazy. He was like, that's wasting your time. You're not going to make anything off it. We made money off of it, and it was fun. So.
And then it was about 5, 6, 7 years later, I started rebuilding carburetors, and I just always like working with my hands and working with old cars. NikkiT wouldn't let me buy any more of the full-size cars, so I had to restore the small carburetors. And I didn't want to do it for someone else. I wanted to, I didn't want somebody to bring me their carburetor and then I'd be on a time schedule, because it had to be fun time. It had to be when time allowed. So I would restore these carburetors and list them on eBay, and they sold. I mean, I would restore probably 2 or 3 a week and sell 2 or 3 a week. It was great profit, but it would take 8 or 9 hours to do one carburetor. And I saw Resale Rabbit and saw Lonnie, and I thought, man, if those cats can do that, I can do that. And you don't have to get your hands nearly as dirty. So that's I've still got about 120. 50. Maybe more than 50. I got a bunch of carburetors still outside, but I hadn't touched them in a long time.
Oh man.
Sorry, just laughing at that.
Cajun Reseller asks, is NikkiT allowed to own anything other than a Ford.
Yes, yes.
She wants a Subaru, but I'm I'm a Ford only.
I owned a Subaru in Alaska, Rev with the fibs. I owned one.
Yeah. The Fords needed 4-wheel drive, so we found a good Subaru while we were in Alaska. But
and I want one now.
So I know not probably everybody knows, but when you guys were in Alaska, like what was going on with that? Like,
yeah, it was cool. I pastored where I'm pastoring now was my home church. It was where I was saved, where I was baptized, where I was licensed, married, ordained. I think in that order. Then we went down to South Georgia and went to one church for 3.5 years, and the next one for about 8.5 years. Great church, great people, and we just felt like we started praying one day and just felt like the Lord was leading us to Alaska. So we told the church that they were shocked and said, hey, you're not leaving the church until you're getting on a plane going to Alaska. So we flew to Alaska with 11 suitcases. Within 2 weeks, we were pastoring a church in Alaska that we had just met. And we stayed there just for 1.5 years. And then our pastor here at our home church passed away. I flew back, preached his funeral. And they wouldn't take no for an answer. We've been home now for 3 years.
Wow.
So, yeah. Alaska was cold for a Georgia boy. We loved it. I mean, the people there were awesome. It was like a playground year round. But it got negative 37 for like 3 or 4 nights in a row. And for a Georgia boy, that was cold.
It's definitely a bucket list place, like Colton said, though. If you want to see somewhere extraordinary, I mean, it is a place to go. It is absolutely beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah, our pastor's daughter married a Coast Guard boy, and he got stationed in Kodiak.
Yeah.
He was there fighting the bears out of the trash can and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's what they were talking about. But now they got moved to Hawaii. Talk about extreme difference, But
just suffering for the government there in Hawaii and Alaska. That's not too bad.
Yeah. Of course, a lot of people are here. Like her coming from here, she was a surfer, unlike myself.
Yeah.
I think Colton said in chat it gets to 30 here and I freeze. I've actually been colder in Georgia because it's a wet, cold. Alaska, we would have a church and it would be negative 10 after church and we would go hiking. It would be cold, but it wouldn't. I mean, you were just ready. I mean, you just felt like, let's get out.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like Calvin and then Sam and Christina they understand the negative blows.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Last year when I moved, we were moving during the freaking polar vortex. I'm like carrying stuff in like minus 20 degrees. Like, what is this?
Right?
Illinois just loves to be 80 one day and then 20 the next.
20 the next.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Bipolar weather.
Yeah, Penny has asked, what part of Georgia do we live in? I live close to Athens. We live close to Athens. We're in Covington. We're in Porterdale, Georgia, is where we live. It's about 40 minutes south of Atlanta. So we're just on I-20. Athens is about an hour from us.
Yep. No, not far.
Yeah, I got you. Like where I'm at, man, it's wind. It's wind all the time. Like we're just in that area. So when we get cold, we get cold wind. So it feels like it goes through you, but it's like today it's in the 70s, so we're good. Not a bad deal. Yeah, I'm actually at one point I was actually born in Alabama. Not a lot of people know that, but grew up in Florida. So Dothan, Alabama is where I was born.
I've been to Dothan a few times.
Yeah, Peanut Festival, right?
Yeah.
Home of the Peanut Festival. But yeah, Sam spent some time in Alabama as well. So
the one time I was in Dothan, I was driving away and there was a donkey tied to a front yard, and in the backdrop was a house burning down.
Yeah.
That's my memory of Dothan.
A lot of goober pickers, isn't that what they call peanuts?
Goober grabbers.
Goober grabbers, that's right.
So
Rev, were you picking and reselling in Alaska?
No, well, that was the time. I think while we were there in Alaska, it was kind of held off the eBay game just because everything had to be flat rate. I mean, it was just so expensive to try we didn't start this type reselling until we got back home, and we've been doing it 2 years. I've been selling like this probably a little bit over 2 years on eBay now, not counting the carburetors that I've done probably 7-8 years ago.
But Alaska is a picker's paradise. There's so much overturn there, people coming and going so frequently. I mean, garage sales are like heaven on earth there. I mean, the stuff you find for the prices you find it are ridiculous. But
you just about had to sell it there in Alaska, and even shipping sometimes from one place of Alaska to another place, it would be outrageous. So that's why yard sales were so good, because you could turn stuff over pretty quick.
Like, what's a yard sale like at minus 30 degrees?
Yeah, it becomes a garage sale, and you walk in and they shut the door. They have heaters everywhere.
They would just put the car washes. The car washes, they would just shut. They had doors on the car washes. You would get out and spray your own car. You would go past, and all the windows are fogged and wet, but people were in there just spraying their cars down. Yeah,
you would pay, and the door would raise up. You would go in, and the door would shut down behind you.
You didn't pull up to the garage sales and Huskies, a snow sled?
No. Yeah, everybody asked about the igloos and the dogs. We thank goodness they had nails in their tires so we could drive in the snow and the ice.
You got the little sidebar chat going on about college football over here.
I see that. Go Dogs. I saw it, Chris.
Yes, I see that. Go Dogs, without a doubt.
Cajun obviously put in his Tigers, but then
I like Cajun with everything except his sports teams that he enjoys. He's a Saints fan, an LSU fan.
Well, you're a church guy, so you know everybody's not perfect.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly right. God still loves him. There's no doubt.
Yeah, Colton put in the Southern comment. Bless your heart.
That's exactly right.
Bless it.
For you Northern guys, that's not a compliment, just so you know. It's basically saying you're kind of simple.
Yeah. Bless his little old heart.
They don't know any better.
That's exactly what it means.
I was such an idiot when I moved down south and people would say that to me. I was like, thank you.
What a blessing.
Yeah. That's I can hear my grandma saying that right now to many of her. Well, bless his little heart.
You're so cute.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Oh boy.
But, yeah, I mean, so you guys, is that your first yard sale of the year? The one you put out?
I actually had one that we hit, and I bought a lot of Fenton glass. This was before the COVID. Right before that, I was just driving, visiting a church member, and a lady had a table, and I did good on that one too. But yeah, that was the first one since everything sort of started to open back up.
You gonna make it?
Yeah, Nicole made me some good groceries a minute ago. So. Yeah, it was. I mean, that yard sale was amazing. I mean, really, I could have, if I'd had the cash when I first went there, I probably would have doubled what I bought. But because I had to leave and go get cash, I came back an hour later. And some of the watches that I should have bought were already gone. But I still think I got 10 or 11 watches, and I think I'll do good on everything that I purchased.
Yeah.
So.
Gosh, I'm trying to talk and read the stuff at the same time, but I do currently live on the Outer Banks of North Carolina. That's where I'm at now. My dad's born and raised here, so that's how I ended up here. My mom's Northwest Florida, the Panhandle area, so kind of grew up there, moved here.
All right, have you watched the teenage show on Netflix, the Outer Banks deal?
I haven't, but it's not real.
Yeah.
I can only imagine it's not real. Yeah.
What happens with Outer Banks with filming here? Okay, so like there's been quite a few films that have kind of set in the Outer Banks, but the Park Service owns most of the land here, and you cannot get permits to shoot on Park Service land.
Yeah, I think it said that was in Charleston.
They ended up filming in
South
Charleston.
Carolina.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they've dropped some other things as to reasons why they didn't film here, but like I said, that's the main reason is that you can't get the permits to shoot on Park Service land because they would mess up. There's a bunch of environmental stuff here that people are concerned. Like Nights in Rodanthe, when that came out years ago, there was portions of that movie that was shot here. They actually used the ferry. But then, like, if you follow the Outer Banks story, it would actually say like the ferry ran from the Outer Banks to Raleigh. Well, we know so, some of the backdrop, like in the sense of the word of there being, you know, two classes of people. Basically, the two classes of people are the people that come here that own second homes here that live in New York or other places, and then there's the guys that are here local that work in the tourist industry in one way or another, pretty much.
And what were the names that they called? I'm trying to remember.
I don't know. I didn't really watch much of it, but I kind of just took the overview of it on Netflix.
You know, we actually, where we're at, the town is actually called Hollywood of the South. So Georgia has like movie here at our square. We've had so many different things, big movies. They've actually used our church, you know, to feed people, and that, you know, wanted to film a vampire flick in our church building, and I was like, "Deuces, that ain't happening. We're not allowing vampires in here, but they could come in and eat and give me the opportunity to kind of meet everybody and do that, and they pay well too."
Yeah,
so I got you. Yeah, I mean, I know that there is some like organizations that shoot near you guys, like because the guys that put out Courageous and like Facebook Giants, like that, those kind of movies. Are pretty near to you guys.
Yeah, they're in Albany at Sherwood. They're not with the church anymore, but those are great guys.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Thought that there was some stuff pretty near to you guys. Just trying to catch up on chat, but Chris, good to see you in here. He had some questions about you guys. Have you opened all those cards? I think it's one of the things he was talking about.
Yeah.
We did. That's one thing. I saved a couple. I've got one to do the giveaway. We're going to do another live next week and give away the metal detector and one box of the cards. But I went back today and bought so many, and we probably could have doubled or tripled our money if we'd have just sold them unopened. But I just enjoy opening packs. So we opened every single one of them and had a great time. That was our date. Like today, we got to sit at our kitchen table and open cards together. So it was fun.
Cajun, to answer your question, buddy, Tar Heels all the way.
Yo, I got kicked out of an NCAA game one time for calling Tyler Hansbrough a Gumby.
He did look kind of Gumby. I mean, that fits.
He always had those crazy eyes. Like, what do you got going on? Yeah, I like the heels. That's for sure. They kind of got me worried right now. Here lately.
We were in Blood Nose, just way up high. Nosebleed. That's what I was trying to get at. We were way up top at Fulton County Stadium when we were dating, and she got up to go to the restroom, and when she did, like these guys cornered her, and I don't know why. He talked about getting kicked out. I'm gonna talk about throwing punches at the Braves game. So I mean, I went over to like protect her honor, and those guys, I am so happy they didn't do anything because they would have turned me into ground beef, but I had to take care of my girl. I didn't get kicked out though, so that was a good thing. All right, moving on.
Oh my God. Back from chasing the rabbit.
Yeah, I've been a Heels fan since '82, man, like way back. When I was a little kid, I remember James Worthy was my favorite player, and then obviously Jordan came in, and it was over.
Wow.
But I used to have the Carolina Blue soda. We moved a few times. I had a 6-pack of the Carolina Blue soda, and they got crushed in our moves. So I would still have those cans today. In fact, I found a bottled Pepsi a while back that had the old championship from '82. So that's actually sitting in my living room. But,
yeah, I don't even think the Georgia Bulldogs play basketball. I don't think they have a basketball team. I root for the Dogs, but we've got to cheat to win a few basketball games.
Yeah, Kent brought up The Last Dance, man. You guys watched any of that stuff?
I have not. It looks like it would be. I mean, I've heard everybody talking about it. Looks like it would be good.
I feel bad for poor Eric. He's always trying to talk about it with me, and I'm like trying to wait to watch it all at once. And he's like, "Oh!"
I'm here.
I mean, I lived through it. Like for me, I was obviously a Jordan fan. I'm a little older than you guys. Actually, I'm 45. Most people don't believe that, but that's the case. So when I was at 92, I was in high school. So that's when I graduated. So for me, that whole 6-year run was when I was a young guy watching that stuff and, going nuts about it. So
yeah, I'm turning 40 in less than a month. But Jordan was, I mean, one thing, an awesome athlete, but his competitive spirit was far and beyond past anybody probably that's ever played the sport. He did not like to lose. So that's the type guy. I played baseball in high school and college, and you want guys like that on your team that losing is not an option. And Jordan most certainly didn't want to lose.
Yeah, it's funny. I coached basketball for like 7 years at the high school level, so I used to always get into it with those guys about that stuff because I'm like, they're obviously talking about LeBron and all that kind of,
yeah,
get my blood pressure pumping. I'm like, man. I think it's funny now there because the great debate outside of watching Resale on YouTube, I can't help but watch some of that sports stuff when those guys are going back and forth about, Jordan, LeBron. Shannon Sharp's lost his mind, I'll just tell you.
Oh, I'm right there with you. I'm old school enough. Yeah, Jordan all the way.
Yeah.
Queen James. I call him LaFlop.
Yeah.
LaFlop.
LeBron James.
It's crazy.
I think he's hurt. Jordan was a bull. I mean, that's who he was. He didn't go join other people to win championships. He won championships. So I think Jordan will get a tick because of that.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's funny. Well, I mean, you guys hadn't seen it, so I won't get too deep into it. But just his competitive spirit, like to where he does have that drive. I said that's what you don't really see much of today.
Yeah.
Those guys are more worried about what their social media likes are than what's going on out on.
Yeah, everybody's friends, even with the other team. Everybody's cool. Man, that wasn't that way back in the 80s and 90s.
Nah, you were definitely competing. One of those things. So for you guys, as far as the reselling thing, obviously you mentioned Lonnie and
Resale Rabbit, yeah,
and I've watched him before too. So those are the guys that kind of got you into saying, "Man, I could do."
Yeah, those, and of course, it just exploded from those. When you go to start watching certain things or start talking about it, YouTube and your phone listens to you and starts, requesting all of these different ones. I would think Lonnie is like the godfather of the type reselling that I do, and of course Cincinnati Picker and of course Kevin at Commonwealth Picker. I mean, those are the ones that we kind of all look up to. Is like they've got it figured out. Let's kind of mimic some of the things that they do. But what's so cool about reselling is that everyone, I mean, Jacob, Sam, and Eric, and David, we all have a little way that we do it that's different than anybody else. So if somebody watches Sam's channel, they're going to learn something that they wouldn't learn from Lonnie. So that's the cool thing about this community is that no matter where you land, you're going to get some good stuff, and you're going to be able to learn. So that's one of the reasons that I do the YouTube is that it, I don't try to train people. I'm not one of those resellers that try to say, hey, I got it all together. I know what I'm doing. If you do everything that I do, you're going to be successful. I give up my bolos. I mean, I tell people, go find wooden puzzles, go find cards, go these things sell. So if I can do that and somebody can go make some money off some of these bolos, man, I've done my job.
Yeah. I think it's pretty amazing how, like for all of us kind of have a different people that you're looking at different things. I mean, for me, I try to be like a sponge. And like you said, I mean, there's stuff you can pick up from different people. Like in the beginning, I watched a lot of like the catalysts, like what you're saying, like those guys every day, just watching that. And now, since kind of getting more involved in the community, like I'm picking places here and there, watching different people all the time and learning, because obviously like those guys have their niches and the things they look for. I mean, most of them, like Kevin, obviously he's going to pick everything. Like he's
that's right.
But and tell you about some weird random stuff that, hey, if you pull this little part off this thing, it's worth it.
Who would have thunk it? That's right.
When in doubt,
but something like Lonnie, most of us, we see things that Lonnie sells, and if we just so happens to come across those, it's great. We're going to pick it up. But Lonnie has sort of he's got his guy, and he's got certain things that he's going to make sales because he's getting flooded with inventory all the time. So, for a new reseller, you may think, well, that's all I need to do is find a guy. And that's not how you find a guy. You find a guy by, going to yard sales. And it just happens where you find those great things like that. So you can't try to replicate what Lonnie does or what Kevin does and say this is the only way to do it. You've got to sort of carve out your own little way and go at it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, just even like your location and the type of things you're sourcing. Like Jacob and I are 4 hours apart from each other. And like the level of competition I see around here versus like the goods that he sees is like mind blowing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you'd still be surprised. There's tons of resellers, even in the small town that I'm in. It's 40,000 people, but it's funny. I traded a guy yesterday for a Nintendo Switch Lite, and he traded me probably about $500 worth of value and stuff. But what was funny is I ran into this guy previously off of Facebook Marketplace giveaway that people were giving away Game Boys, and he beat me there by like a minute. And he gave me a Game Boy because I pulled up like right after him. Really nice guy.
That is nice. He throws you a crumb like that. That's not bad at all. Yeah, we've done that. I've got a few. If you watch the channel, I've got a few places I just call the honey hole.
Yeah.
And I have a source at my honey hole number 1 where I get health and beauty all the time. It's sort of dried up recently, but there's a guy that was an Amazon seller that I had met in the community. I didn't know that he wasn't sourcing, but he saw he watched my eBay and saw some of the items that I was selling. And he found out where I was getting them from. And I had an item that was selling $69 a piece, something I was paying $2 for. And he just bottomed the price out. And I met him at the store and we talked. And I was like, man, that doesn't do either one of us any good.
Yeah.
You get it. You can lower, you can go cheaper than me, but if you go half the price, you're really. So what I did is he went half the price, and I had about 500 units of what it was, and I just let him sell out of his, and now I've moved my price back up, and I'm selling them again. So
good deal.
But he's a cool guy. But there's competition everywhere.
Yeah, my dad runs into a lot of situations like that.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we've kind of talked about in the past. I know the three of us have talked about this and linked from time to time about, that is one of the things with especially retail arbitrage.
Yes.
Like, if you pick something up on clearance, if it's in clearance at your Walmart, it's in clearance at every Walmart across the U.S.
Yeah.
And, and then you got to be careful with that stuff because it'll tank quickly.
Yeah, it's almost a race to the bottom. You're just seeing who can get there the fastest. And that's why I don't really, that's not in my business. And that's another reason I don't do Amazon is because you have to find those replenishables, and I couldn't share it because if I found an item to sell on Amazon, you shared it on the YouTube channel, everybody and their brother would be going out and buying it. But like the cards and selling on eBay, you can go find the cards, but it's not going to hurt the value that I'm going to get for them because card values are there. So that's another reason I just stick just to eBay.
Yeah, most of the people, with us, most of us, I think, are selling one-off items for the most part. You may find multi-quantity occasionally, but for the most part, it's things like that. How often is someone going to pull a Zion out of a pack? Like you guys have pulled more than anybody I know.
she has pulled more than anybody.
NikkiT's the Zion whisperer. We know.
She got that Midas touch. Holy smokes, man.
Yeah. Literally, we halved the cards today. I normally don't get to open any. I pulled some John Morant's, pulled some LeBron's, but every single one, we pulled 4 Zions, and she pulled every one of them.
That's what we talked before I talked to you about. We had to get NikkiT on because we're hoping some of that rubs off on us.
Yes, that's exactly right. Having her on the camera will do it. Yeah. We've had people actually tell us that they get on Instagram and was like, "Hey, can I send these cards to you and just have you to video it and open them for me?" And like, funny, "You want me to do that?" It's like, "No, I want NikkiT to do it. You video it." We haven't done it yet.
That's funny, man. It's funny. Yeah, it is crazy. So, I mean, obviously, the other big thing that most people know you guys for is the metal detecting stuff. So, was that just a fluke? You just run up on it like, what in the world?
Yeah, it's another one of those awesome sources that I found. I have. That's another thing that I watched is metal detecting videos here on YouTube, and there's actually one chick that does it. That's the lamp lady. She's a reseller too.
Yeah,
and she's actually on some of the boxes of the Ace detectors that I purchased. But honey hole number 2, they get in pallets, and the pallets are either returns or damaged. And every time I went in and bought a few of the detectors that they had at one time, we sort of made a deal. And I told her, I said, "Hey, she knows I'm a pastor in the town. I said, if you get any more in, just call me." And now for about 3 months, every time they get a metal detector in, they just put it behind the counter and give me a call. And I go, and sometimes I pay up a little bit more for the lower price ones. I pay $150 for those that are like $700, $750. So if I get enough of those, it sort of balances it out. And I don't want to hurt the opportunity of buying more. So anytime she calls, whatever price she sets, I just pay it and come home. And all of them have worked except one. I have got one that did not work, and it was my fault. I should have tested it before I left. NikkiT don't know that, but I'll sell it for part
surprise.
Yeah.
Is that the one sitting in the garage?
It is the one sitting in the garage.
That keeps the relationship though when you pay the full price, like that she asks.
Yeah. And the price is, I mean, if the price is anywhere from $75 to $150, and all of the detectors are going to sell, most of them, the cheapest ones are, $180, $190. And if I get that at $70 and make $100, that's hard not to do it.
Aaron, I will make him test the one. I will make him test it.
Here's the giveaway. It's already tested, already working, so it's good to go.
That's a good question, Christina. I'm gonna let you take that one.
All right. When you're deciding to watch other reseller YouTube videos, what about a video draws you in the most to continue watching? Is resellers yourself? What turns you off from a video? Anytime I see Dapper Tiger on a video, we have found out that we love the community more than we love the content. We love the people. When I say not saying the content's not good, it is. But there are some reselling videos that I may watch that I don't really, gain any information that I didn't already know. But because I know Eric, or because I know Jacob, or because I know Sam or Aaron or whoever it may be, I enjoy it because we're like one big family. And during this whole COVID-19 thing, y'all have been our family. I mean, NikkiT has become a YouTube fiend, and she watches YouTube just as much as anything else. But there are some things that does turn me off on resellers. The resellers that kind of pose themselves as the end all be all, that if you watch my channel and my content, you're going to know everything there is to know. One, I don't believe that's a possibility. And that's the way I view it in anything. Unless you are the best, don't act like it. So So like preachers that think they're more than what they are, I don't really, jihad with those cats. Anybody that has that attitude that, hey, I'm the end all be all, that's kind of a turn off for me.
I guess I really enjoy the ones that I watch, and you can just tell that they're real people. It's not a show for them. It's not a script. It's not, hey, this is what I need to do to make this video go, everywhere. I like the real people. I love watching people that come across as just real. What you see is what you get here, honestly.
Yeah. But we want our personalities to show. I mean, I probably never would rap. Sam did, and put that out. There's a few things that is just me, and of course, I mess up words every now and again. I don't edit those out. That's just me. I mean, when I'm preaching, I couldn't say distributed. Did I said it wrong? I just said it wrong. Okay. Something in the message, and it got hung up. And I mean, the church just loves that I'm a human just like they are. So that's the way I want the channel to be.
Yeah, that's what I joke with these guys about all the time. There's some things I pick up all the time. I was like, I saw in one of your videos, you're like, I'm not even going to attempt to say this, what it is.
Yeah.
I can't ever say that pencil name, that Ticonderoga or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was some I don't know.
We have a box of those on our table from Aaron, actually, and I don't know how to say them.
Ticonderoga.
Yes.
That will not come out. And I practiced it sometimes before getting on the camera saying, I got it this time.
Sam typed it in Google. Don't let him fool you.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'll be preaching some of those Old Testament scriptures, and I'll get to a hard word, and I'll either go really, really fast and nobody catches it, or I'll just say hard word and keep rolling.
I swear, it's the class, you get to a name, I'll look at it, go hard word, and we'll keep going.
Yeah, my brother-in-law one time, man, I used to teach some in church as well, but my brother-in-law, we were doing like college and career age, and we were reading some passage of scripture, and there's all those kings, like king, whatever. Yeah. So he's like, the old king said to the new king that if this king, and like he read through it, and like most people never even looked up, and then they were like, what? Old king? Like, I mean, it took a second for it to click in that that's not what it was.
Hey, but it still preaches. I mean, it's, I haven't, I've messed up a few times where people have called me out on it, but most of the time, everybody gets it and understands the message is Jesus, and I know how to say his name. Yeah,
that's it. But no, I think we all, I think that's what does show. I mean, like I think there's a time and a place, like, obviously the education side of things and being sincere in what you're doing, and whether it's reselling or whatever else you're doing. But I think it goes a long way when the people are real. And I think the same thing. Like I used to watch some guys that were a lot more polished on YouTube about things, but then, man, when you start listening to them and you're like, wait, something ain't adding up here. Like these guys are, they're talking about basically how to be a YouTube reseller instead of how to be a reseller that also YouTubes. So,
and I'm not saying the most of the, if someone is sharing something and say, hey, this is the way I pack this, I'm great with that. I just, y'all know what I'm talking about. There's some cats on here that are like, you don't need to watch anybody else's content. You just watch my channel. You can pay me a little extra and I'll talk to you 30 minutes a day or whatnot. I'm not thinking about anybody specifically, but those type resellers they're trying to become professional YouTubers and doesn't really care about the community. They just care about the back pocket. And that doesn't help me much.
Yeah, I mean, I for me, I don't see nothing wrong with, I mean, obviously we're right now on a push to get several guys in our community, you guys being one, to get monetized.
Yeah.
I don't see that being a problem whatsoever. If you're putting out content, people are watching, but I think, it almost becomes kind of like selling yourself out when you're just so, I mean, for me, like me and Sam talk about growing YouTube all the time. Yeah, and we talk about algorithms and how to do things a little bit better, and I think that's good. But my mom has an old saying: "As hard as you got to work to get them, as you got to work twice as hard to keep them."
Yes,
I think that's one of those things. If you're trying to do that, and then man, you're in for a long road.
Yeah, if you win them with a hot dog, somebody else can steal them with a pizza. So
I'm not like that.
I never heard that
I
one.
think this community as a whole, I mean, this community, especially the ones that we have met and just really had the privilege to get to know, y'all included, is there's so much everybody here has to offer.
Right.
And I just, it's why would you, bite the hand that can help feed you? And why would you not accept that? Why would you not look to that? I mean,
Oh yeah, I've dropped a lot of dime on YouTube chats and giving people money because they've been great value to me, and I would much rather pay somebody $20 or $100 on a chat than I would for somebody saying, "Hey, let me tell you something," but before I tell you, you got to give me $100.
Right.
I think there's a difference.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's like the turnoff for me when I started really diving in and going out of like the immediate newer YouTube content creator circle. And like, I'm finding folks and they're charging for courses or buyer guides. And I'm like, I'm turned off already, but thank you for trying to sell me on stuff. But
yeah.
And there's some good ones out there. I know Rally Roots is one that I've watched their content. I think they're genuinely cool people, but their business model is not really reselling anymore. Their business model is teaching people how to resell and how to do what they do. And for their thing, if somebody wants to pay that and they find value in that, then hey, I'm all for it. I'm just not one of those that would be willing. I say that now. You may look back 10 years later and there's Rev Resale courses, but I hope not.
No.
Join us Patreon, guys.
Yeah, Patreon.
We'll copy the link later, guys. No, don't.
Yeah.
I think we all, and like for me, it's crazy. When I first started getting into reselling, I actually was looking a little different. I watched guys that were primarily Amazon guys, and I started trying to go down that road a little bit. And I actually got kicked off Amazon in 2 weeks because I took bad advice. I bought something, I had a receipt, and that's all I had. And I got popped with inauthenticity. 3 items the same day I listed them, I was out. And so that was in October. So for me, I think, you need to be careful too what you're listening to. Like, make sure it is something valid before you go out. And I mean, I always tell people the same stuff. Like with RA, be careful. I mean, I say it all the time. I sell a lot of RA, but if you notice, like the stuff I'm getting, like today, I actually picked up a puzzle in Walgreens for $2. I was like, at $2, man, I can give it to my dad if it don't sell.
Yeah, that's right.
It's one puzzle. If I drop $2,000, that's a problem. Like it's one of those things. So just being careful.
I think what Johnny had just said in the last thing that you had up, what Johnny's doing and sharing with people, hey, here's how you list, here's how you pack, man, those type videos are what I needed. I learned how to ship a baseball bat by watching a YouTube video of a reseller shipping a baseball bat. So that information is good stuff. And nobody thinks that, hey, Johnny's saying he's a pro or the best. There are others out there. And I know I'm not a drama guy, but I hope y'all understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're fine.
No, it's definitely one of those things. I think we all, most people, I feel like for the most part within the community that I see, it's kind of crazy because we've talked to like, you do have like Lonnie and John and you know, Kevin, and you have even like Craigslist Hunter on a different level. But I mean, you see those guys, and then you kind of see that second wave of guys coming through. I mean, we have Kat in our community who's kind of like following right behind Matt, part-time picker, and there's various people that we look at, and then all you guys recently that are like moving up the chain, and everybody kind of moving up the chain together. And I think it is. I think if you look across the whole thing, everybody's got something different to offer for sure. And everybody has things that they may know a little bit more about than somebody else. But I think that's what's great about it.
Yeah, I mean, Kat, she's crushing it with the Shop Goodwill and getting in. I mean, I don't think she leaves her house. I think stuff just shows up in the mail every day, and she gets 30K in 90 days. I mean, that's just the way Kat runs it. But she's awesome. She does things different than I would do when it comes to how I like to source. But that's the cool thing about resellers. Everybody doesn't have to be exactly alike to be successful.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I think that's what's cool about YouTube and watching folks. You know, it's like you get to sample everybody's little flavor of models and what works for them, and then, you know, how they express it. You know, once they have that knowledge. So,
yeah, and I think it helps somebody who is new getting information from all these different channels, and then really for themselves figure out what might help jump them off. Which avenue is best for them to start on. Hey, that person's idea was really going to work where I am, so I can take that, mold a little bit to what fits me, and go from there. So I think this.
Yeah, Flipper Chris is one of those guys too. He's most certainly a great deal of knowledge when it comes to hats, and love watching some of the stuff that he sells and some of the stuff that he does. So no doubt one of the good ones.
Yeah, I mean, I see it across the board. I mean, I see like when you messaged me earlier and we were talking about, obviously you were going on with your premiere. You know, I'm on with Tim with over the years that these guys, you know, Jacob actually asked Tim to come on our channel, and I was like, dude, his haul, Tank's in here right now. I can't never say his name either, guys. I know Sam knows it. Go ahead.
Kernock, yeah.
Yeah,
Chernock. I think it's with the CH in the front.
Yeah.
Oh.
So anyway,
Chernock,
these guys. So Tim is like the glass man. Like I've actually sent him pictures on Instagram and said, Tim, man, what is this? Like, because he turned me on to it. And then Tank, dude, he is the hat. Like, I mean, if you go back and watch Tim's video,
I'm going to, yeah,
explaining everything about these hats, he's spotting it to the T. And then so Jacob knew Tim because of hats and all that stuff. And obviously these guys have seen him around. So they got him on. So, I mean, here's two whole new lines of product. And for me, if I'd have known these guys, you know, and seen their stuff, I walk by that stuff all the time.
Yeah.
I'm not messing with that.
Well, it's what's great about the community so far is just like how friendly everybody's been. You know, like if I reach out to Tim or Tank about something, somebody's audio humming right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear it.
Oh, I hear a neighbor mowing. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Yeah.
It took a break from raining, so he's out there. He's out there getting her done.
I had no idea what it was. I thought somebody was coming in my house.
Maybe I can move
Somebody
the
see the
laptop
rail
away
pull
a
out the
little.
wall.
All right.
No, you're good.
Might be a Midwest. You hear a mower through the wall. I got you.
Just open up the window, yell at him, Jake. Hey, I'm YouTubing here.
Get off. Hey, get off my lawn.
Oh, that's funny.
I can't do it. He's a good guy.
That's a good microphone. I agree. It can
That is a
hear.
great microphone.
Yeah.
I
You got
guess.
Kyle in and Tank, and you know, I think there's some more people. DC Sales has dropped in. Obviously, Aaron, Best Offer Queen. I was trying to go back through. Joey popped in. Joey hit his 1K as well. Make sure you're watching him.
Yeah, Joey's awesome. Babyface right now.
Joey
I know, right?
too.
Yeah, he'll. I can already tell though. It's gonna be like a weekend. He's gonna have a beard again. I mean, it's
Dude, that
it's
guy-
coming back.
Shadow after the razor quit turned off.
I know.
Let's see.
That's so true.
Yep.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah, I think being a reseller, the community. I mean, if you're in the community, and I think everybody that is, man, it's just such an awesome group. And I've heard, you know, I've used the drama term a little bit ago. I heard that, you know, years ago there was a lot of drama against resellers. I don't get that, man. If I'm gonna come on YouTube and quarrel with somebody, I don't really have a decent life. I love y'all. I'm not going to argue with you about anything. He's weed eating now, right, Jacob?
Yeah, he's like I said. It finally quit raining.
Yeah. Oh goodness.
Hannah said she's gonna go take care of it. My girlfriend's in the chat. She said she's gonna go get after him.
She's going out the back door.
Chase
Hear
after him
her in
with
the
a
background
pitchfork.
fussing at him.
Jacob, why don't you follow her with a camera? We can get some live action going on.
All right.
YouTube gold.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, I saw your video, Jacob. The haul that you picked up the other day. That was a nice one. All the Nintendos
thank you.
And the nice one for sure.
That was fun. That was a lot of work, but it was fun.
Yeah.
Sam and I might have a little special surprise for you guys on regarding that.
Cool.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So it'd be nice. I mean, and that's the cool thing about like this YouTube stuff. Like I wouldn't have met any of you guys or done any of this stuff without, diving into the community and kind of connecting with everybody. And I get a cool haul deal with Jacob soon.
Yep.
You're talking about games. I went to the Goodwill, I think Friday of last week, and I found 3 DS games, Pokemon DS.
Ooh.
One had 2 in one case, but it
That's
was
the
the
best.
Soul Silver, Black, and White. And I bought all 3 of those. 2 of them had case and manuals. I ended up making about $200 off those 3 games.
Sweet.
Yeah, those are the ones you put in your last or your most recent video, right?
Yeah, one. Yeah, I think there was 1 in this one and 2 in the last 2, and they sold I listed them and they sold within 18 hours.
Yeah, Pokemon seems to be, if you can find the right stuff for Pokemon, it's gonna go quickly.
Oh yeah. You just have to be careful with counterfeits.
Right.
Some of the Pokemon stuff, but yeah. And if you guys haven't entered Rev's giveaway, if you guys go into his last stream, you put in 1K, I believe, in the comments.
Yeah.
It's for a box of majestic basketball card or mosaic basketball cards and a metal detector. So.
Yeah, that is actually nope. That might be.
Oh, which one is that?
I don't know. That may be coming to you. No, it's not. That's the right one. I know I shared this video in the last one. But I think that is that's the one to our live, and if you comment 1K, it was kind of neat. I had one guy wrote 1K, wrote out 1 KAY.
1K about 3 different ways that you can say he wrote it.
Making sure.
You missed it.
Yeah.
Covered.
Yeah, Pokemon good people. I found that $2,500 case of Pokemon cards. That weren't a game, but Pokemon.
Wow.
I've never played Pokemon a day in my life, but I tell you what, I'm on the look for them now.
Our son has a huge binder full, but he doesn't do anything with them. He just collects the cards.
It's just amazing to me, the stuff that I never would have seen value in. There's a message in this that now, because I'm a reseller, I see value in stuff that I saw as garbage before. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. I think our son has a lock on his binder to prevent resale.
Oh.
Nope.
He's got a lot of Lego too. I think that's a good idea.
Do you guys ever include your kids in the reselling stuff?
They've gone with us several times to yard sales and everything. I think our son may be a tad bit more interested than our daughter at the moment. Our daughter's like, "Ooh, yard sale! What can come home for me?" Whereas our son, I think he would. I think he'd be interested in.
We'd let them pick out boxes of cards and open them up, and then I'll buy the cards back from him if he doesn't want them. And so they figured out, hey, I can make profit. My dad buys the cards, gives them to me, and then he buys them back from me. So we've done things like that to kind of encourage them to see value in stuff. Don't throw stuff away, and don't give stuff away. I think a lot of times we give a lot away. A lot of the profits that we have in the business, we don't take a salary. We bought a few things. I bought a camper and a boat, not high price items. Bought a few nice meals, but this is just a kind of a discretionary fund for us, and we're able to, if somebody has a need in our community, the church has money that we give and have a discretionary fund there, but we've been able to help without there being a lot of fanfare, and that's a blessing to us. We do things for the community, so it's so reselling has been fun because we've been able to give back in other ways.
that's something that's great to be able to give back. I mean, that's just another part of how things helps. You know, like I was just reading a Jarhead, you know, talking about the reason he got into reselling is to pay off credit card debt.
Yeah.
And, you know, everybody's got their own thing, but man, if it gives you some extra income to be able to help other people, I mean, I'm the same boat. Like I've had I teach at Dare Challenge, which is like this Christian rehab. So I teach Bible class there, and those guys, they hook me up all the time. They have a thrift store, so they'll call me like, "Hey, man, there's some stuff up here." But dude, you know, in the same hand, it's like, man, if I can give back to help those guys as well, then that's what I want to do. I mean, because if you're just in it just to sheerly just make money, man, I mean, then it just turns into a job, you know.
Yeah.
It's just,
It does. It's not going to be fun and that's why I say fun time, because if it becomes a job, if it puts pressure on the ministry or pressure on the family, I really don't have to do this. But it's been fun, and I think because we're giving and blessing others, we've been blessed by it as well. So it's been good. So. If you take us to the John, I'm done.
Yeah, you guys aren't that lucky. I'm sorry.
This
I had to
is a
get away
close
from the
community,
mower
but
now.
I'm not that close.
You wait till we get on for you flush.
I'm gonna try though
something though, huh?
when we go back into these stores. I'm gonna try to expand Rev's selling to some clothing. So yeah.
I do not like selling clothes. That's one of the. I don't know. Maybe y'all sell a lot of clothes.
Me neither.
I don't care for it at all. I'll sell hats. I'll sell a few shoes. We bought NikkiT is the reason I did this. I bought a guy's garage. He was an old reseller. Yeah, it's your fault. And he had these shirts, and it was just huge boxes of shirts in one corner of his garage. And he said, I think there's about 800 shirts. And I said, how much you want for them? And he said, what about $1 a piece? And I was like, man, no way. Well, I go back. I'm picking up stuff in the truck, filling my truck up, and coming back to the house. And Nicole's like, oh, you should get it. You got to get it. You got to get it. Well, I go back, and I talk him down to $1/4 a shirt. So I bought 800 shirts for how much? $400. 800 shirts for $200. So I get all of these shirts home, and what happened?
Well, first of all, they were brand spanking new.
Brand spanking
in the plastic. New. They're called True Fly. I don't know if y'all ever heard of the True Fly brand.
You haven't.
They had tags on them that read $79.99 a piece.
They lied. Keep rolling.
And we sold 10.
Yeah, we've sold more than that. But what I ended up doing is I donated about 90%. If it wasn't 2X, extra large, or large, I donated them all the way. And there's people all throughout Covington in this part of the state that got some Goodwill shirts for like $2, and they're sporting them shirts, so they wouldn't buy them from me for $9.99 on eBay, but it was still fun.
Yeah. He blames it on me, but that really wasn't me.
Yeah, I've got a giant trash bag full of clothes that I've never listed. They're just sitting there hanging out. So Harley Davidson t-shirts and hats and shoes. That's kind of the extent.
Well, like I watched.
They're in here. They're killing it.
Sonny dropped a video. I think it was yesterday. That he's blowing it out of the water with some of these brands he's finding. I mean, he's doing really well with some of the stuff he's finding. But I too think it could be where he is. He's where you can find a lot more of that than
Vegas, baby.
We could probably find here, but.
Well, I think I mean, it comes back to what do you enjoy to do, really?
Yeah.
If it's something that's time consuming that you don't enjoy messing with, then it's just gonna look at you.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's one of those clothes are still like hats and shoes. I'm down. Like I get excited to see some Jordans or something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, and measurements. Like I have all these vintage jeans that I've listed, and I do have those listed. But man, like I get messages all the time. What's the measurement and this far down on the thigh? Come on now.
I know what size I wear. I don't want to go through and do all that. Yeah, I'm done with it too.
But I think too that honestly, I mean, not any kind of knock on anybody, but you know, most of the people I see very successful with clothing are women, to be honest, because like, as a dude, like we're pretty simple about how we pick out clothes, you know, like does it fit? Can I breathe? You know, that kind of thing. The important stuff. And you know, we're more concerned with hats and shoes anyway. But t-shirts, is it a t-shirt or a t-shirt or a t-shirt?
Yes, that's right. I want a blue one or a gray one, you know.
That's it.
Tank's got a point. Some clothing will. I mean, yeah, of course. Some clothing is gold, you know.
Yeah.
It's just finding the right pieces.
Yeah, that would be my alley. It'd be digging for the vintage, not necessarily the high end clothing, more the vintage t-shirts that you know people would probably be looking for.
Yeah, well that to me, like people would, because I am a full-time pastor, and when the church is operating and things are at normal, I'm making visits every day. I'm out in the community every day. So when I go into a thrift store, I want to be in and out in like 10 or 15 minutes. If I had to cycle through those clothes, it would take so much time. So really, you know, time is one of the reasons. There may be a $250 shirt in there, but if it's going to take me 2 hours to do it, I'm going to miss out on so much other stuff. So I just go in, look at a few things, and if they have it, I pick it up. If not, I'm out the door.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, I don't fault anybody that sells clothes, makes money off of it. I mean, if that's your deal, then go for it. Like, it's just for me, it's not me. I mean, I've tried it. I've looked at it. Harley Davidson t-shirts, I pick them up every time I see them because they sell instantaneously. And I don't know, maybe most guys wearing Harleys, they're not worried about the measurement of the 3 inches above the whatever. But I've never had a problem. But yeah, Tank's right. For me, though, like finding a single stitch t-shirt for me is like finding a Zion card, you know?
Yeah.
I just don't see them very often.
Yeah.
Yeah, me either.
Well, on the flip, you know, it's like vintage clothes is like getting into cards where you have to kind of know the players and who you got in your hands, you know?
Right.
Yeah, you got, there's a lot of education that comes with clothes that I don't have. And because of that, I'm like a fish out of water. I would just be flopping around in the clothing section. I could have $1 million pair of Levi's in front of me and it just looked like a pair of jeans.
Yeah. And at the same time, it's like, you know, I try not to close myself off because, like, you got the Ronnie Hart's who's like makes a killing selling Brioni's, and he'll tell you these wild, you know, clothing brands and styles that you probably wouldn't have ever heard of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's like who are we watching? The vintage socks. Somebody found a pair of vintage Champion socks, and they went for like $40 just for the pair. Yeah. I can't remember. Who it was. Somebody.
Yeah, it was Champion socks. I can't remember who it was either. But yeah, that's awesome. Hey Emily, I just see you popped in the
pretty
chat.
much anything vintage Champion, really.
Yeah, it's probably.
I imagine would be good.
I think you're right. It was Matt at Part-Time Pickers that picked it up in that amazing, awesome thrift store that he has that has gold in it every time it goes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's.
Yeah, I commented on one of his on his videos. He was saying where he would move when he retired. I said I figured he would build a house next to Eco Thrift.
Yeah, right. He could probably own an Eco Thrift if he keeps selling as much as he's doing, and he could just sit in the back and get the goodies before they come in. He's another one that has an eye that is just amazing. He has found things that sell that I would never have assumed. Just like wooden puzzles. I guess now my education is there because I found one and know they sell. He's just sold a lot of stuff that I would have walked over. So
I remember you talking about those wooden puzzles in the chat.
Yeah.
Like $300 for one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sold today.
Crazy.
Actually, in today's video,
awesome.
it went out 200. I put it, in the video, I showed it and I said, this is probably a $300 puzzle. And one guy wrote and said, don't count your chickens before they hatch. You don't really know if it's going to sell for that. And when it sold, I told him he was right. It sold for $299.99.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing, man.
Yeah, I was actually hoping it would go for more, but I was really pleased. $2 into $300.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I'd do that every day of the week if you could, right?
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Every day, always.
Well, how about your church? I know things. I heard you guys talk about opening up and how you guys have to gradually open up. But I'm thinking, how much your knowledge could really benefit the community. Like I'm thinking like the youth groups and stuff. I just think of how much my pastor's done for me growing up, keeping me off the streets and out of gangs and stuff. Like, so I think of that from that perspective, how much that would be beneficial for some folks.
Yeah, it's amazing. We have shared sort of what we do with people in our community and people in other churches that we have been a part of that have started doing this. Had one guy message me today. He went to 2 Kmart's and had like $2,000 worth of trading cards in his buggy. I was envious. I know I shouldn't be. That's against the rules, I think. But yeah, you're right. There's so many different things that in the church. Our congregation is a little. We have an older group in the church, and then we have our age group, and then all the kids in the church. So we've got a good mix, and I'm ready. I'm chomping at the bit. It'll probably be the middle of next month before we start gathering again. But doing the online messages, it's just amazed me how many people have watched the online message. I'm actually preaching to more people on Facebook than I would have been if I was just in the congregation. So we're going to keep the online messages going. Even after we get started back. But our church family is a major part, and we're missing them because we hadn't been able to gather.
Yeah, Cajun Reseller asked, what's the most y'all have ever spent at one time?
I spent over $600 today on trading cards. That might be the most at Walmart. I've dropped $1,500 at one sale, and probably should have done that at the yard sale that was in the video today. It was probably that table. I could have made money if I would have had $1,500, but I don't care around that type cash. I don't know if y'all do. But I've dropped $1,500 before. Probably
that's just my pocket change. What are you talking about?
NikkiT would have to carry that kind of money around. I'd limp. If I had that, I'd be walking sideways.
Yeah.
My neighbor might cut it up with the mower if I had that much money.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I spent $380 2 weekends ago now on all that video game stuff.
Yeah.
So that's my most ever, actually.
Yeah, but for resellers, though, when we're dropping that kind of money, I know when I first started, I would almost get nervous and start shaking. But it's almost now that I've been doing it as long as we have now, I sort of know that I'm making money. I'm excited to spend the $600 because I know I'm going to get $800 in return over the top of that $600. So spending it. She used to say, "How much did you spend on that?" Now she's saying, "How much are you going to make on that?" That's the way it works now.
Yeah, that's definitely the thing. As far as one time, like one purchase for me, I think $350 was the most. I think I had a guy ask for $500. I went to $350. Actually, I went to $200. We met in the middle of $350, but we, but like you just said, that's the point. You make your money at the buy. I mean, you're making your money at the buy. It's not no matter what you sell it for, it's a matter what you buy it for, because, you could depend on what it is. And like for me, most of the time, if I'm spending more money, it's on a bulk purchase anyway. So I'm looking at a few items in there that are paying for everything else. That's the way I work it. But, everybody kind of has their own way of looking at those things, but I haven't gone that deep at one place. The other question that I saw was Christina had asked about is anybody dumpster diving.
Have not. I haven't. No.
Very little.
Do it, and I'm wondering.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever.
I've only found one thing one time. Well, actually, I found two things, but I actually look at the dumpster. There's like some higher end shops close to where I live, and they have tons of bubble wrap in there all the time.
Yes.
Boxes that fit my profile, and their dumpster looks like you could eat off the bottom of it. So I'm like, okay, I'm down for free bubble wrap. I don't care.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I do that, but there's actually a makeup shop close to where we're at that's high end. And I went in there looking for some bubble wrap one time, and I found like this sealed serum that sells for like $80. So for 20 and got in and got out. And that was pretty much the extent. But I'll tell you what's funny though. So I went to this shop near where we live that used to be a thrift shop. Now it's a lady. She basically flips baby clothes and does like basically just for little kids, has little kids clothing, baby supply, that kind of stuff. And I got talking to her. I said, didn't this used to be a thrift shop? And we kind of got talking, and I kind of talked to her about like, do you have resellers come in or, as far as like bringing lots of clothes at one time? And she goes, yeah. She goes, do you resell? And I was like, yeah, I do. We got talking, and this lady, I mean, she's kind of prim and proper looking. And she goes, I got to tell you something because I'm about to bust. And she goes, I dumpster dive. I was like, what? And she goes,
that's cool.
She goes, I go to Ulta and I go to like all these high-end shops and like dumpster dive. And she goes, I do it all the way to Raleigh. Which is and I was like, are you first? She goes, you're the first person I can talk to this stuff about.
Wow.
Crazy. Because
there was no social distancing going on. I would have given her a high five.
Yeah, I was like, man, I said, that's sweet. I was like, what do you do with it? She flips it online. That's what she does.
Yeah. Wow.
And there's whole dumpster diving Facebook groups that they auction makeup and all kinds of crazy stuff that they get on there.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you want to grow a YouTube channel, you start dumpster diving. I mean, their content and their numbers have just skyrocketed. So I haven't done it, but I'm not saying I would.
Craigslist on it. Like, I've seen him do it. Like being there neck deep, setting his camera on the edge of the dumpster.
All right, Sam, what have you got? You dumpster dive all the time.
No, I mean, my dumpster diving is literally whatever people are leaving at my apartment dumpsters. So like the last 3 days, I guess people are moving out. We've just been getting a whole bunch of free stuff. Like it hasn't made it into the dumpster. They just put it off to the side. So I got an inkjet printer that I'm gonna put up. I got a bunch of this these shelves up here. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh yeah,
cool.
I just picked those up. They were like new in box. I'm like, okay. So we're looking to have like some bookshelves for like the baby anyway. So I'm like, that works. So but yeah. I've put out one dumpster diving video. It's like my best video. It's like
free is hard to beat.
Well, it's amazing what people throw away. I mean, like you said, new in the box stuff. Not donating it, just throwing it away because for them it's even too much of a hassle to donate it. They just easiest things, toss it.
Well, that's the kicker. Most of the stuff that's at Goodwill, if there wasn't a Goodwill, people would have just thrown it away. All the stuff that we find at Goodwill, people are willing to give away for free.
Yeah.
Erin says she can't see you dumpster diving.
Oh, I dumpster dive in a minute, chick. I'm about to. I haven't.
Oh my gosh! The next video, watch. He'll be.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be head over heels. All you're gonna see is my boots coming out the top of the dumpster.
That would be funny.
That's the one where you go viral, Reverend.
Yeah, that's right.
Goes dumpster diving.
Yeah, that'll be the one. He gets caught, and I get the phone call. NikkiT,
come get me!
Come get me!
Is it illegal in Georgia?
Yeah, I think there's some that they have signs that have cameras at their dumpsters.
At their dumpsters.
I don't believe there would be anybody, but it would be my luck. Florida Baptist pastor gets arrested for dumpster diving.
That's perfect, though. You don't even have to set up a GoPro or anything. You just use the security footage from when you get caught.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, man, I got this this shelf behind the dumpster. This shelf that's right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was sitting out there. I was like, man, it looked like it's fine. So
Yeah.
one of those things, but yeah, I mean, it's one of those. I think it's just the way it is. Like, I think some people would, would take it a little bit more serious than other people would, for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. The Ultas actually, that girl was telling me about the Ultas. They actually typically dump all their makeup in a bag, like cut every package, like do all that kind of stuff, because I guess there has been so much people talking about dumpster diving at Ultas.
Yeah.
I mean, that makeup stuff's like $100 and stuff.
Yeah.
They make a soup bag, is what they call it. It's full of foundation and stuff. You can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, why would you destroy something if you're just gonna throw it away? Just give it
Yeah.
away. But that's the way it is. Yeah, somebody's talking about my golf jump. Yeah, that's I need to get full audio and everything of that and share it on the channel sometime.
The jump.
Oh wow.
Yes, I should have made it. The worst part of it was I stretched that foot out just a tad bit too far and ended up sitting down in the crease. So should have, yeah.
Should've.
I would have made it if I wasn't. I never would have made the jump, but it was sure enough fun to do.
I love you, but no.
Yeah, it's crazy.
KJ, I hear you.
Build up their immune systems.
That's a good idea. Who needs a reacher?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You must be a couponer there, KJ. I know. One of my aunts used to do this extreme couponing stuff. I was like, I thought about her when all this stuff. She quit doing it years ago. I sent her a message and said, "Hey, got any of that leftover toilet paper?" But it's crazy.
How about you, Jake? You dumpster diving?
No, not really.
He gets freaked up all the time.
My uncle is a dumpster diving expert, but like he doesn't care. I've had somebody tell me they watched him grab a Mountain Dew out of the dumpster, crack it open, and start drinking it. Like, man, that's disgusting. And like when they're telling me that about my uncle, I'm just like,
Oh
yeah, that's Uncle Curtis for you, I guess. He's a good guy. He's like, the funny thing is he's the most giving guy that you could ever meet. Like, he goes to every church in town and he just gives.
Cool.
Yeah.
You do gotta watch out because you'll get something he got from the dumpster.
That's like What the Hells. I don't know if they had us on the other day and we were honored, but he goes and he'll find food in these, and I'm almost 100% positive. I don't want to break the thing, but I think he sets them up in there. But he'll find stuff in there and open it up and eat it on camera. So, man, he's a whole lot braver than I am.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, there's definitely people throwing it away, man. As a teenager, I used to work in a grocery store. They'd be throwing it away all the time. I also did vending for a while, worked for a bread company. And man, bags of chips, like those guys are throwing mountains of bags of chips in there. Like if they're out of date, like I was like, I couldn't believe the amount of stuff that gets thrown away.
I ain't passing up no Frito-Lays now. You don't throw them away.
Hey, I do have a funny one for you on the Outer Banks. A few years ago, now you can Google this, like you'll be tripping out. There was a shipping container of Doritos that washed up on the Outer Banks. There's Doritos all up and down the beach. People walking up there picking up Doritos.
Wow.
So when you get off, Google Outer Banks Doritos, and you'll see like this crazy picture.
Oh man, that's
People
cool.
like
I've heard it.
That's nuts.
Raining tacos, but it's seas bringing in Doritos. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, Dorito Tide washing in.
That's a walking taco. Have you guys had a walking taco? Do you know what that is?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Stuff it all,
Okay.
stuff in the bag, and
Taco in a bag.
Yeah.
yes.
Because somebody told me that's a Midwest only thing. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's all over.
That's
The
a
first time I
lock-in
had it was
only
in-
thing. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
First time I had it was in Jersey.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's prison food, but I don't know. I don't know where.
Like Chi-Chi's.
Yeah,
That's some good food, then. They're feeding
It
them.
is good, no doubt.
Yeah.
Emily, look it up. You'll see.
That's funny.
Yeah, walking taco. Yep.
Yeah, glad to have you with us, buddy. Just kidding. And walking taco. All right, guys. Well, man, I think we're pushing on like an hour and a half, but obviously, man, we enjoy having you guys for sure. Don't want to take all night. I know there's other guys got stuff going on. So we thank you guys for coming. And you guys have any last second questions, comments? Jake?
Yeah, I'll start out by just saying how much we appreciate y'all. We thank you for having us on. I've always enjoyed your chats and all the things, all the people you've had on. So appreciate you having me and NikkiT on. We enjoyed sort of hanging out with the fam tonight. So we appreciate y'all.
Yeah, this was fun.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys coming on. You know, it's been fun, especially having Joey and then now you guys and being able to celebrate with you guys. And hopefully we can kind of rally together and get you guys the hours that you need. And can't wait to see you guys get monetized.
Yeah, it'll be
Thank
cool.
you.
Looking forward.
Right.
Looking
Fun.
forward to it.
Jake, you got anything?
No, I'm good.
We'll let you get out of the
I
bathroom.
pretty much covered it.
I don't know if you got the camera on the back or what, but man, guys, we do appreciate y'all being on. I mean, obviously, it's an honor to get you guys to come on and be a part of, our show as we've been going along. It's interesting to get different perspectives from different people, and obviously, it's kind of cool that we had scheduled things the way we did, and then Joey hit the 1K and you hit the 1K.
Yeah.
And
That's what it was. So that's all we needed.
yeah. So if we get a line of people messaging us saying, "Hey, we want to get to 1K,"
Yeah.
that's what it is. But no, we appreciate you guys being a part of the community and the thing that you bring, man. NikkiT, I see her all the time in the chats, and she's always uplifting and promoting other people. And Rev, obviously, the things that you're doing both on camera and off camera, obviously, is a big responsibility as being a pastor and mentor, especially in this time
Yes,
that we're
indeed.
going through. So I know you have a lot on your plate, and yet you're still involved in our community and add just another like you guys said, hanging out with the family, just add another member to that. So for all you guys in the chat, make sure that you're watching these guys. Let's push them watch hours on up. And I've been letting yourself and Joey kind of just play on stream over and over. Now I think Jennifer was in here earlier, so she just hit the 1K as well. So we're trying to do all that as well, just to keep pushing everybody up, and we'll all grow together. So
yes, indeed. We'll pay it forward. We'll do the same thing for y'all.
Certainly.
Yeah,
Onwards and upwards, right?
that's
Yep.
it.
Right.
So, all right. Thank you guys for watching. We will
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.